Out.
Hi, everybody.
How it is.
We just had way too much fun about a week ago, and Jen and I decided that we need to be back live with you all. And we both had our I'm not freaking out smile just before we came on and had a discussion about what it means to have happy hour. Now, I just have my orange juice. Jen, what are you drinking?
I made a little concoction of Perrier and raspberries because it's still a school day.
And it's Monday.
It's Monday. That doesn't matter anymore.
Exactly.
But I'm still trying to teach my kids with the grade 4 like math and science and stuff. So we're not ready to drink quite yet.
No, we'll leave that for a while. But Jen and I decided that we better do a happy hour because I think the world needs happiness. We all need it.
And you guys feel free, grab a drink. Don't whatever, no one's judging because nobody can see you. So it's all good.
It's all good. And I guess we haven't introduced ourselves. Jen, you can do the introduction this time.
Hi, I'm Jen Hadley.
Welcome, Jen Hadley.
And I am here with Lisa Gareau of Candy Event Consulting. And today we are talking about how the events have changed. So last week we talked about what to do next, where we're going to go from here. And then now we're looking at, we're going to take some actual clients and we're going to talk about what they've been doing, how they've moved and how they've changed and how they've rearranged. So let's get into that.
So today what we wanted to do is just give you guys a little bit of an introduction. The changes are tough. There's a lot going on. And we have had some brave souls that have agreed to be on with us this week. So we're going to be doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, different clients. We'll tell you a little bit more about them later on this week or later on, I guess, in our live today. But what we wanted to chat about today is the idea of actually what does it take to make a big change?
Yeah.
So what has it been like for you, Jen?
Oh man. Well,
what are the changes? Because it's not just candy. There's other stuff going on.
Honestly, homeschooling has started, and oh my God, can we just cheers to the teachers, please, who do this every day, and I don't know how. Like I volunteered in their classes a few times over the last few years, and usually by the end of it, I'm exhausted. But now this is a whole new ball game, and I get that they're on a different level and they are doing things that they don't know what to do, and they're getting questions. And I listen in on their online classes, and it's like, Mr. this, Mr. that, Mr. like every 2 seconds. And I just I don't know how they do it because I just have to shut it off. But so that's my day job suddenly.
Exactly. Which is why we're at happy hour. So welcome, Jen. You've made it to the end of the day.
And it's Monday, and I don't know how this is going to continue. I don't know how we're going to do this for the next who knows how many months, but God help us all, and I'm sure we'll be fine. And if not, we'll be whatever.
Everybody's in it, right? Like everybody's in that same space.
Exactly. And I think that with candy and with events and clients, and it's kind of the same thing. Like we're all being dealt this new thing that nobody knows about. We've never been there. We have no idea what's coming next. Like every day there's something new. The other day, the city announced in Calgary that they're shutting down every single public event until the end of June.
Right.
So that's huge. That's like probably it's a good chunk of money that they're losing, I'd say.
Well, and when you think of how like the weather's just starting to warm up, I think we have some snow melting today, and the idea of people wanting to get out, wanting to get to the festivals, wanting to start, ramping up their spring events, all of that is affected now. And we're honestly, I think there's a big holding pattern for summer too.
Yeah.
So we don't know.
And that's the thing is people are rescheduling, but we don't know when they're rescheduling. So they've got like 3 or 4 possible other dates. So, now we're pushing into the fall, and then there's certain events that can't happen in the fall, like, those races and the, golf tournaments. Eventually golf courses are closing. And I think that we're all everybody that is dealing with some kind of change, whether you're trying to get a job before and now you can't, or whether you were working in something before and now you're a homeschool parent, and too bad if you don't get it because you have to. Which is where I'm at.
Exactly.
I mean, I put on a watch today. I don't know why.
Because you feel like you'll be on time for something.
Yeah, because I had to be somewhere for something. And that's,
well, I have mine on too, so.
yeah, it's funny. I think that events, life, work, everything, it's just we're starting to sink into this, okay, this is real. We've got to make some decisions now. So it's been tough, and I'm not going to say that it hasn't, but you know, I think we might add some alcohol to this a little later.
Well, and it's amazing when you start to think of, like, I think I mentioned to you on the weekend, like when we were talking about doing this Be Live at 4:00, and usually this is like, I'm up really early, so 4 is tough for me. But even today, I feel like I've been on adrenaline, and there's just a lot to do. And we're just, as much as events are postponing or canceling, or even within our business, how we're really trying to readjust and find new opportunities. Like, what does that look like for us? And bringing on new partners, which actually has been pretty exciting. I've got a bunch of calls this week, things that I didn't think that we would ever be diving into as deeply as we are on the promotion
side, yeah.
Which is, I think, super exciting for us on a bunch of levels,
right.
and also for them. So it was neat. Like, I was talking to some people over the weekend, and they took our phone call saying, this is exactly when we need to talk to you. We really need to collaborate. What can this look like? And they're looking at new ways of doing their business so that they can support us better during this transition. So in lots of ways, it's opening a bunch of doors. I won't say by any means it's easy. And families here, everything, you know, I think things are still feeling a bit upside down. But if we allow ourselves to go there and learn new skills, and I had this really great quote. I wish I could actually find it, from Kathy from Angels.
Oh yeah.
Posted yesterday, and this idea of reaching into, or joyfully reaching into the possibilities. And I really wanted to claim that for this week, because I think there's a lot more to come. And I just need to be reaching beyond that, not looking back as much as reaching into what's to come.
Yeah.
So, Jen, I wanted to talk to you about something I think I sent you. This is from Psychology Today. So,
oh yeah. I thought you sent me that because I had like a personal meltdown, and I thought that you would like send me that to make me feel better.
And that's exactly how I'm going to make you feel better, is by sending you a link to Psychology Today.
Psychology Now to tell me, because when everyone's freaking out, the thing you have to do is tell them to relax and calm down.
Exactly. And then here's your 10 steps to feeling better.
10 steps to chill out.
Exactly.
That's one.
That'll be tomorrow. Exactly. So I thought what might be helpful today, we've got about 10 minutes before we announce who's coming this week, because I think it's going to be great to talk to our Candy community. But are you keen to go through these?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just for the rest of you, we've got 10 ways to cope with big changes. So this is by Stephanie Sarkis, and this is, I just pulled this off of Psychology Today. And this idea of 10 ways to cope with big challenges, I thought it's pretty cool. And for me, I just love when you can get things in bite-sized pieces, because then at least you've got a little bit, even if you chose one of them for today, I think it makes a difference.
And so the cool thing is this was from January 2017. So
there you go.
So it's still relevant.
Totally.
So today, thank you, Stephanie.
Exactly. And it actually doesn't, these are things for any change. Like, I think that's the amazing thing, is that if anything we can learn through all the challenges of life, no matter when that is how to cope with those changes, and how to support the changes with our teams and with the people around us, and to be that leader. I think we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, to be that leader. So number one,
acknowledge that things are changing.
Oh, you got it.
Oh, am I reading?
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
So what does that mean? Acknowledging that things are changing. It's all
it's all in there. Everyone goes through their 7 stages, right? So one of them is denial. At first everyone's like, yeah, okay, this isn't such a big deal. Okay, I'm still gonna go outside. I'm still gonna see my friends. I'm still gonna. And then now it's time to just say, okay, now this is real, and acknowledge that we have to make some changes if we're going to survive.
Totally. And I think that acknowledging for me, a lot of that was actually just letting it settle in.
Yeah.
And I needed time to process what was actually happening. Because when you start to think of not just the events that we're planning, but that the industry, like the events industry and anybody planning events, really things were upside down. So acknowledging is also on our side, meaning that there's going to be some big changes in our company by postponing to fall. That it's a big deal. Yeah. So acknowledging was number one. Number two, realize that even good change can cause stress.
Yeah, it's been, and it's been funny because I've been sitting here kind of calmly and enjoying the time and slow down and everything. And then avoiding my emails and everything. And then I open my emails and, these good changes are suddenly started causing stress.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, what I thought of when I read that was that I'm developing proposals now for new clients or for new partners with new information. Yeah. And so in the back of my head, I keep telling myself, but this is good change. This is good. I'm learning something new, and I'm going to understand this platform better, not this one, but some of the things that we're starting to work with, I'm going to understand it better once we actually start to dive in with these partners. And that change is a really good change, but it's something that I really feel like I have to remind myself that even though it's good, which then prompts me to take a little bit of time off. And actually, you know what I've done, Jen? And I don't think I've even shared this with you.
You don't take time. You
on
don't
my
take
phone.
time.
Okay, this is my change. Oh, that was a text from you. But on my phone, what I've done, I have to show you. So my managing through good change is on the hour, every hour. You know what I'm doing?
Drinking water?
No. Well, I'll add that tomorrow. But for today,
having a nap?
When my alarm goes off, I have to stretch.
Good.
I have to get up and stretch because now that my husband and I work at home together, it's like you never stand up. Like I'm never. Well, my alarm hasn't gone off yet, but it's like you never stand up when you're working, and he's wandering around and comes over and says hi and moving, right? Like he needs a break from just being at the computer all day. And for me, I get really tunnel vision where I get locked into what I'm doing, and then it can be hours and hours before I take a
I know, and I force you to eat all the time because
yes, you do. I know, yeah. And you know what? And that's actually a good thing because that you force me. It's a good thing that you remind me to eat. But the other part of that is that it's a good thing for me to understand that even when it's a good thing, like if I'm loving what I'm doing, because I really do love what I do, that I also need to manage my body, manage my stress level, manage my sleep in the middle of all of it. And so my little stretch reminder.
I like it. It's good.
No, it's really good. And I might even keep doing it. So that's awesome.
That's
okay,
great.
So number 3, keep up your regular schedule as much as possible. Okay, let's just go to number 4. We'll deal with that one later.
Skip that one.
Okay. Try to eat.
I don't even know what that is on a normal.
You're better at this.
I don't even know what that is on a normal day.
What's that? Eating
regular
healthy?
Schedule.
No. Oh, really? I know, that's true. That's true.
Okay, eat healthy as possible. Oh God, that was hard. Because you go through this thing. You go through this. I'm not good. I was, but I'm not. It's been a while. But you go through this thing where you're like, okay, I'm going to take this time and I'm going to meal plan and I'm going to do all these things and I'm going to buy healthy food and frozen vegetables and everything. And then the other half of your brain says, what do you mean it's quarantine? Just put your sweatpants on and eat all the junk food while you're watching Netflix. Like people have that double brain thing, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, let's see what she says here. So this idea of
you just want to eat
carbs. Stress. You want to, you just want to eat. It's okay to soothe yourself, she says, with comfort food.
Thank you, Stephanie.
In moderation. I know.
I love Stephanie.
Stephanie of Elite Emergency Response. Shout out to Stephanie and all of the baking. Oh my goodness. Like, honestly, I told her if she wasn't isolated and if I could just come over and just like stuff my face with her baking, but it's so amazing.
Everybody's all of a sudden a baker online.
Well, thank goodness I'm not, because that would be a problem.
Bread baking club, everybody.
Okay, but you know what she says here?
Yeah.
In Psychology Today, she says, in moderation, And she says, take a step back and then just see if it's something that you really want to eat. That's sort of paraphrased, but what?
Always what I want to eat.
Yes.
If it's got sugar or carbs.
I know. Well, maybe you need to set an alarm and eat a salad.
Have a carrot at every hour. Have a carrot. Whatever.
Okay, number 5 is exercise.
Yes, that too. That one's tough. But what I've done is now we've set up a gym class with the kids.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah. So we, I think it was also, there's a lot of, everybody's doing online free stuff now. Yeah. Everybody. Chris Worth is doing it, which is just on its own fun thing to watch if you're going to join or not. All the fitness, there's like bar online, yoga, whatever it is, like half an hour. It's really not that hard. And then especially if you've got kids in the house, to get them going. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a great idea. And I think doing it as a family.
Yeah.
Or if there's an opportunity for you to, like for me, like I honestly have to set an alarm to remind me to move.
Yeah.
So that's new. That's been like, I don't know, 2 days. Okay. So number 6, because we have a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
Seek support.
Yep. I think that's really important. I think that a lot of times it's really easy to just sort of cocoon at home and sit on your couch under your blanket and pretend that this is not happening.
Yeah.
But there are people, and we talked about this too last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever we did this, when we talked about that you have to choose to get out of that.
Yeah.
So choosing to find the people that are available, because there are, and people, especially now, are just so helpful and so, giving of information and time because they have it. So take advantage of that, and the people that are there to support you. And absolutely, that's a huge one. Like you and I, our texts until whatever time, even though they're gift texts, it helps.
Running from the fire.
From the fire and tripping along the way.
Exactly. They're good ones.
Yeah. And there's there's a lot of resources as well. So if there's, the kids' phone and all that, if you really need help, please find it, because it's there, and use those resources definitely. And if not, just send an email.
And honestly, and I was going to say, like, honestly, if you're struggling with your events, like, and I know, like, probably for you guys too, that there's been that, the stages of grief where you understand you've got to make the change. You understand you've got to move your event. You understand that things are going to look different, but you don't know what that looks like. We started an email actually right at the beginning of all of this, and it's pickmybrain@candyconsulting.ca, and that means, and for those of you that have watched our lives before, it means that you can come talk to me, you can talk to Jen. We've got everything from your event strategy covered. We've got event planning, your logistics, even how to move your event, how do you postpone, the checklist of things that you need to do. But then we also work with really great partners on your marketing for your event promotion. And some people are moving into that direction as opposed to having a physical event. You may just want to have that online promotion, online fundraiser. And those are all things that we can help you with, which really becomes that additional, not just support for you for now, but it can be that support for you ongoing. That's why we're here. And our line really is that we're with you in the event planning journey. So that doesn't end or start, like it's things change all the time. There's always going to be crisis or no crisis. You're always going to have things that you have questions about. Well,
the thing is, unless you're shutting your doors and you are no longer going to be working at your business, then you have to keep going somehow. So your fundraisers still need to happen somehow. You still need to raise the money because the need is still there. Your company's relevance still needs to be explained to your audience, because otherwise you're just going to drop off and no one's going to know who you are. So just because it's not happening doesn't mean there's not things that need to still happen. Exactly. Well, and I think for all of us, like the clients that we work with, for those of you that are unfamiliar with Candy Event Consulting, we work with business owners and entrepreneurs and small business, corporations, nonprofits. The common denominator is that you're all running great events and want that support or want that planning support along the way. The cool thing is that there's, in seeking that support, like you're saying, Jan, is that we understand, and we've lived this, and it's the same thing with our business, is that the seeking support doesn't end. No.
Because the importance of keeping, I always say, to keep a community vibrant is about really allowing yourself to be exactly who you are or who your organization needs to be for the community at all times. And that's going to ebb and flow, and there's going to be changes, and there's going to be events that come and go throughout that cycle. But the idea is that you stay in front of the ones that you want to serve, and also the people that want to help you serve, you know, whether that's in a business or a nonprofit sense. And that's, I think, when we talked about, I forget what number it was. What number was it?
Not the one about staying on your schedule. We were on number 6.
It was. It was about when you're looking for what's next. I think this idea. Okay, I do have to find it. Realizing that even good changes can be stressful. Finding support anytime you're making a pivot, a change, or you're trying to adjust, even scaling up can be really stressful for people, because now you need to find, I don't know, more team members. You need more money. There's so many pieces about scaling up, as exciting as that is, that almost needs more support in some cases, depending on what you're doing. But yay!
I agree. You can't stop.
Are you ready? Okay, where are we?
Number 7. Right?
Number 7. Write down the positives that have come through this change.
I think that, and one of our clients is really good with this. Richard Bucher is really good with talking about journaling.
Yeah.
And you don't have to, if that's not your thing, you don't have to like make it a thing, you know.
Totally.
Just jot down your thoughts. Keep yourself current. And also, I was talking to my kids about this. Right now, we're making history. In 30 years from now, they're going to be telling their kids about that time that they were quarantined, and no one's going to believe them unless we keep it going, right? Yeah. And I told them about the Diary of Anne Frank, about how she was living the same thing, and well, obviously not the same thing, but that her life changed dramatically, and she was writing the history down, and now we read her story and her diary as it happened. So even just to make the memory and to keep it, you know, for the future, and realize that it's not that bad. We've got it pretty good, you know.
Well, and even if you're struggling, like the thousands, hundreds of thousands of people like that are affected through this crisis, the idea of what does this actually birth in us as a society? Yeah. You know, the gifts that we're offering people, this even in the slowing down. I posted something just about the gift. It was a poem actually from the Spanish flu, I think it was.
Yeah, I saw that.
But this idea of we find the humanity in people and in our work and how we show up for each other. And I think that to me is the gift. Such a beautiful conversation I had with Kathy at Angels Cafe. Really, our conversation was sort of about an event that was coming. But this idea that what they're doing to support the community and showing up with their team and how it's coming back to them as well. Like there's just this give and take that's starting to happen. I think, like you're saying, the journaling, writing it down, having a record for your family or for your team and how you've made it through. I think all of that really matters. That's
and also it's also a really good release of all the things that are stuck inside you, right? Like, you know how you and I and probably everyone else before they go to bed, you can't fall asleep because you've got it all in your head. But if you write it down, you get it out of your system, and then it's off onto the page and not inside your head or your heart for like in the immediate. So that's also a really good way to just put it aside and then look at the good stuff. Like I'm looking around thinking, I don't have to be somewhere at 6 a.m. on a Sunday. That's for me as a hockey mom, that's great. That's huge, right? So, or I don't have to do anything specific there's no deadlines for certain things because I don't have to, they're not taking permits. So I don't have to apply for permits right now. Exactly. That's a blessing. If anyone's applied for a city permit, you know that's a blessing.
And we love our city contacts.
Love them, but even they know that they're, you know, that it's an ordeal. So, you know, take the time and de-stress and just, I think this gets into one of the probably the last one of just like chill out and be okay and be happy.
Is that the last one? So we had get proactive was number 8.
Yeah.
And then vent to a point. I think this is, we'll get proactive. I think that part, we talked a little bit about that already. Like, what are you doing to really start moving forward, to take the next step forward? And I'm excited because actually the rest of our happy hour Be Lives this week will be with our clients and some from our community who have had to change. And the whole idea of where are they now? I think this idea of getting proactive, they are all examples of people that have kept moving and kept finding the ideas and finding ways to put wheels on the bus and keep things moving. So number what did I have? Number 9 was vent, but to a point. And this is one that I actually love to speak to, because I think sometimes it's easy just to go on and vent and get caught up in it, where there's so much negative, there's so much we could be talking about, there's so many things that venting somehow feels better, maybe, but at the same time, how is that locking into your mind, where now you're actually believing some of that you're venting, but it, do you know what I mean? Like, where it kind of gets internalized, and then now you kind of start living that.
When you lie to yourself enough that you start to believe it. Yeah, it's
totally, that's exactly. I see it happen all the time. But and I think this idea of, like, I've had to learn to share and understand that that's okay. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be locked in there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how are you allowing yourself to move through it as opposed to staying there?
Yeah, it's also just about the mindset too, really quick.
Yeah.
If you're venting and you're in a constant state of negativity, that's how you're going to show up, and that's how you're going to live. So making the choice to say, okay, end rant, now what? You know, I think it's okay to get it off your chest and to say what you're thinking and feeling, and then move on. And what's your, use it as a, like she says here, use it as a brainstorm.
Yeah.
And what can we do to make things better instead of just complaining about what it is? Because and we've talked about that before, like, we're the what's next instead of the what happened.
Yeah.
Idea.
Well, I think in that too, like this idea of, I think she said here too, that the frustration can be contagious. So what are you spreading? Like, by venting, what are you actually now spreading into the lives and the projects of others, and where they actually feel like there's other people are being affected by that. So it's one thing for you to get it off your chest and then you walk away. A friend of mine actually had this really great saying in the past, but she always said she wants to be responsible to the conversations she has. So if she vents with somebody on the phone and then she leaves, and then now she's left that sitting with that person, whatever it is that she just vented about, and they don't have a way of processing it, they don't have all the information. And so sometimes she would actually call me back. She's like, so I wasn't responsible in that conversation with you because I left you with a bunch of things to be sort of upset about. But actually everything's okay now. And I think that depending on your personality, I guess too, but I think there's something about moving through it. Like, let's just move through it, get to the next conversation and keep going. And then have something positive. I think everyone's looking for something. There's a lot of not just in crisis, but there's a lot of people that love to talk a lot about other people in a way where you're bringing someone else down. And I almost feel like ending on that, because I think it's really important for us to make sure that we are also showing up with integrity, and that we're showing up and understanding that this is going to be a long life, and we've got a lot of living and connecting and collaborating to do in the future. So the last one that she has here is back away from social media. And I had somebody say to me on the weekend when we were talking actually through with a potential client here, and they were asking about, should we be adding to the noise?
Right. I remember that call. Yes.
And is that, like, are you adding value? And we hope we're adding value. I think there's this idea of us going live and we're like, well, are we just adding to the noise? Are we just, because we love to chat, you and I, and we work through a lot of things together. And so this idea of actually having, stepping away, knowing when to step away, I guess, and when to feed in. Do you have thoughts on that?
I think also, and we touched on this last time when we talked, it's about the opinion versus the information, right?
Mhm.
So we can go on and vent about what we think of the government or what we think of whatever our political or religious, whatever views are. But then what are the facts? Okay, so, what are we actually trying to get out of this conversation?
Mhm.
So if somebody's posing a question online, what's the link to log into the, CRA information? That's a great question. But if you're answering with, oh, well, you're not going to get any money and blah, 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 and then it's hard to get through and all this. Yes, we've all dealt with that. I'm dealing with it constantly. I'm still, we're still trying to get applications through and even get through a website, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And then sharing that sort of commiserating with people, there's a point. And then I think going back to I'm just going to scroll back, to the point.
Yeah.
That's really important also on social media, because that's what we're talking about is you can vent, you can say your piece, but then move on from it. So, and also it's the emotional piece that just people can't let go of.
Yeah.
So that's where my thought is. It's great. I like social media because really lately it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of sorry, I have a visitor. 1 minute. This is live,
And that's a
people.
wrap. I guess we are we're over time.
It's we're talking about dropping social media for certain things, but honestly, if you're getting the information that you're looking for, if you're being fed with, some people are posting pictures of flowers every day and bunnies and, funny jokes and things like that. That's the kind of stuff that I'm really liking. I'm liking the community building and the other. I've joined. There's one group called like the bright side of the virus and things like that, where people post like the good news stories, about how we clap for our first responders and that sort of thing. So there's a place for that, but definitely and I told you, I think a couple of days ago or yesterday even, I'm so overwhelmed with social media that I just need to just step back and shut off.
Yeah.
And when I do it, I just want to do it mindlessly right now, because that's my getaway. But when there's something interesting to listen to and there's something that matters to me, I will definitely check into it.
Exactly.
So, and I hope we're bringing that.
And being okay to be selective, right? Like that's okay. Like honestly, like if you're able to pick and choose. And actually someone else had said to me, there's so many free courses or there's so many opportunities. And I said, that's true. And you still have to show up, right? Like it's not that you can just, everything's free, and it's almost like information overload or where opportunity overload. Like now you have a grocery store of all these opportunities that you could be participating in, and is it going to get you forward? And I think we talked a little bit about that. Like, how are you actually making the next step? So if it's something that feeds you to the next step, then that might be exactly where you need to be. But be selective. There's going to be all sorts of supports for a long time to come. So it doesn't all have to be done in one day. So Jen, I'm sorry, we are now over. Yeah, this is so fun. Okay.
Wait, you missed the last one.
And
finally, give yourself a break.
That's because I can't give myself a break.
You have to.
Okay, so the last one, like Jen said, okay, hang on.
Have to.
And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put this, the link to this article, I'm going to put it into, I never know where exactly to show you. But it does say, can you read it?
I can't read anything. You'll have to go. How about we just read it out? Give yourself a break.
So I think that is a really great place to end because it's true. And if you are an event planner of any kind for any event, chances are pretty good you're still in motion and you're still trying to figure it out, and you're probably working pretty long hours. So Jen, I think you're right. You need to give yourself a break, Mom.
And it's too hard. It is
hard, but it's going to be okay. And what I have to share actually with everybody is what's coming up.
Yes, what's happening this week? What are we talking about tomorrow? I don't even know. What are we talking about, Lisa?
So this is our. I posted. I don't know if you saw on Instagram, but I posted that birthday photo that you put. That you had. I had a wine glass and I had ginger ale and a straw because it was really nice. But it was my birthday, and Jen had all these people come to Where was it again?
We were at Brewster's on 11th Avenue.
11. And it was great.
It was a surprise party that took you a really long time to figure out.
I was so incredibly clueless, and I'm like, oh my goodness, all of my friends are here, and you
What
all
are the chances?
And look at how we have this amazing community, and they just all happen to be here on the same day. Anyways, that was happy hour, and I don't drink. And so the joke actually is that I can still have my orange juice in a nice cup. I can still have my ginger ale in a wine glass if I want to.
Totally.
Anyways, so what we've got going on this week is we've got our candy happy hour. We've called it Where Are They Now? And it's because we're going to be talking to four for this week. And then we've got more that I think we'll be interviewing next week, Jen, just a little heads up.
All right.
But we're going to be talking to them about, they were planning their events. What were they? And where are they now? Where are they at in their planning? Where are they at in adjusting and shifting and moving their events either online? Are they canceling? Are they postponing?
That's really cool. I'm excited for those conversations because they're the real life examples of what's actually happening. So
totally, I agree.
Our clients are so great. Yeah.
So I'm going to say tomorrow we're going to talk to Kathy Jacobs, and she is with Angels Cafe. If any of you have ever been down to Edworthy Park, which I'm pointing this way and you can't see where I'm pointing, so that doesn't make sense. Anyways, we're going to talk to Angel tomorrow. So we're going to talk to Kathy tomorrow from Angels. She is an angel, actually. You'll find out about that tomorrow. Jen Lofgren is with Incito Leadership, Executive and Leadership Development. So we actually had a really cool pop-in with Jen just a couple of weeks ago on leadership, and we're going to be talking to Jen about her Dare to Lead workshop. So we helped her with Dare to Lead here in Calgary. She's got another one coming up in Vancouver, so that one has had to shift. Talk to Jen on Wednesday. We've got Richard Greer. So Richard is with
Groovy Spice.
Your new jingle, Richard. But we're going to talk to Richard because he's got some really cool things happening. He makes his own spices, but we were planning an event for him in spring with barbecue and some other cool stuff. And anyways, we'll talk to Richard on Thursday. And then who's Friday? Do you remember? Richard Booker.
Richard Booker's on Friday?
On Friday, yay!
Good, because we're all going to need a little purpose on the weekend. So
exactly. Jen, you want to tell us about A Day on Purpose?
Yeah, so A Day on Purpose is probably, it is actually a really great event. It was supposed to be a full day conference with speakers and panelists and this whole day of interactive conference style learning. And now cannot happen physically, which is changing the direction of the whole thing. So we've gone to online lunch and learns where we started off in person and then we switched to online. So yeah, Richard's had a fun.
He's had a few. When we talk about stress, like even good changes can cause stress. And honestly, Richard has been one of those clients and honestly part of our community. Yeah. Where he has encouraged us as much as I think we have him. So we're going to talk about A Day on Purpose on Friday.
Yeah, he's the epitome of resilience. So if anything, we're going to get out of that a lesson from him. We're all lucky to all of our clients.
You know what I want to tell you, Jen, and I'm not sure if you even read this email yet, but we've got our new home is at Work Nicer. Roxbury location is where our office is, and we actually had Sean email us today that he would love to be on with us, but he won't be able to be on with us till next week.
Perfect.
So we haven't got a day yet for Sean, but we will definitely talk about Work Nicer, and they have been doing this stellarly.
They're actually a really good example of how to do this. So they're going to be great to talk to. I think all of our clients are on a really good trajectory. And I'm so grateful that they all wanted to come and share their Where Are We Now story, because it's not just me and you rambling.
Well, it's true. And when you actually start to talk to some people that are muscling through, and not just muscling through, but doing it with grace and by caring for each other and being part of the solutions, to me, that's where I find a lot of joy in the work that we do because of the people we get to work with. So thank you everybody for being with us. I'm gonna leave and Jen's gonna take a break. And I'll try to take a break too, hopefully you guys do. Thank you for joining us at our happy hour. And we love you all. And if you need any support, contact us at Pick My Brain at Candy Consulting. And we will see you again tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Awesome. Have a good day.
See you, Jan.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.